So now we'll understand about the enterprise mobility management, just MDM, that is mobile device management. Mobile device management is a tool, is an interface in fact, which will control the authentication policies, which can control the device related features, like if the organization who has given you the laptop want to control certain features, like you cannot use the webcam, they can restrict that. You cannot use the USB port, they can also restrict that. You cannot use any other application which they want, they can also restrict that. It has been done via a mobile and remote device. They can also wipe the data if they want. Mobile application management, that is MAM, it is established to protect container to run the corporate application, enterprise application developer programs, and distribution channel. This enterprise mobility management, it completely controls the data, the authentication of your devices by the company or the resources to ensure that you don't use or you don't access to that particular data or the services which they don't want you to use. Two-factor authentication. What is a two-factor authentication, which we also call 2FA? It is a security process that requires users to provide two different forms of verification before accessing an application or a system. This also strengthens the security compared to a single factor authentication, which typically rely on a username and password only. So in case if your password is compromised, anyone can use that password and your user ID to access the application or your system. Common two-factor authentication methods include sending a code to the mobile phone using a biometric identifier like a fingerprint in your laptop nowadays, or relying on a hardware or software token. Like nowadays, you must have seen somewhere if you go to any a bank, they used to use a device where you have to use your finger or your thumb to give the access and the control to them in order to ensure a two-factor authentication. We'll understand how it works. First factor, the user typically enters the username and password, which is a standard and authentication method. Secondly, in 2FA, after successfully entering the first factor, the user is promoted to provide a second, that is OTP. That OTP is a code that can be sent via text message, email, or push notification to your mobile devices. It can also be a fingerprint or a facial scan. You can also need to answer a security question. These are mainly the two-factor authentication. In secondary authentication to corporate workspace, two-factor authentication is very much required. You have to report or verify the sign-in via second device or account. That account could be your email also. Location services. Now, we'll understand what is location services. Location services are the services which allow the user to understand or to know the location where they are geographically located. See, here the geolocation means to identify or estimate the device position on the earth. Location service mechanism. It is used via GPS, which is called Global Processing System. It is utilized or it is controlled via a triangulate via or an orbital satellites. So all the mobile phones nowadays are equipped with GPS. So you can use the GPS, which is directly connected to the orbital satellites, which will give you the estimate device position on the earth. Indoor positioning system, IPS. It triangulates to cellular and Wi-Fi radio sources, enable or disable and privacy options. So you can see here in this picture, you can just go to the location service. You can use the location, turn it on, and you can also see which applications are able to access your location. Like we have read in the last topic that you need to grant access or permission to your application. So here you can see which application are accessing your location services. Now we'll move on to the next topic, laptop disassembly process. Here, you can see in a laptop, you have this built-in screen, integrated keyboard, touchpad, and I/O ports like HDMI, VGA, USB, etc. In a laptop, you will find various type of screws, internet data cable connection and orientation, and static protection. Now, you can also see form factors and plastic frames in a laptop. You have to go through the documentation of your laptop in order to understand the components in it. Battery replacement. If you're facing any problem with the battery, you need to check with the AC adapters, the cord usually that comes to charge your battery. The battery usually comes with a lithium ion battery nowadays. There are various cell sizes depending on the type of laptop that you're using. You can also check with the battery release. You can also check with the power charging unit.